do you think there has been manipulation of the price of GameStop or of AMC? Because that is just that's one of the accusations that gets thrown around every single day, basically.
Yeah, this is a common question, and it's difficult to answer because you never know exactly who's asking the question and exactly what position or what knowledge they have. So they're quite shocked when I respond initially by saying every stock is manipulated. They're manipulated intensely, and it's done in ways that so many different ways that even if you knew all about them, you'd unlikely be able to hold them all in your head or look at them happening on screen in front of you. You'd have to have some sort of checklist because there's an intense amount of negotiation negotiation on levels that you can't even see. And in order to hide that or obfuscate certain types of behavior, you have to make moves that would look counterintuitive to anyone trying to investigate what you're doing. So, on these desks, you can just phone up people. You'll have to anyway, all day, phone other people for various reasons, prices or whatever it might happen to be. And depending on what type of fund you're working on or they're working on, there'll be normal conversations that happen. And you'll ask, like, what are you thinking about this? Or how are you guys putting things in that direction? And you anticipate that person lying to you and to manipulate you to advantage of their own trade, and so work around that, and there's that cat and mouse game that everybody plays all the time, apart from the odd one or two who, again, probably will do it at the end of the day. And so there is no honor among thieves, really. And so, yeah, like on the levels of the people who are working in the fund managers, junior fund managers, executives, fund associates, everybody up and down that, they all are aware of the fact that they're trying to manipulate and control the narrative. And that's like with regards to other people at the same level of themselves, never mind the lack of information that will ever filter down to retail. So from a perspective of like, is it happening? Yeah, all the time. How is it happening? Well, that always depends on the context of the security you're trading or the people that you're trading against. And commonly, we all are probably aware by now of CNBC and their not to pick out any one particular aspect of the mainstream media, right? They're not all that different from each other. Fox News, I'm not going to say that they're any better, obviously. But there are these avenues to push a narrative that will reach lots of different ears and cost little or nothing in terms of your effort and reward you'll get in return. And it's so very easy to manipulate the mainstream media, just manipulating downstream actors in the industry. So, you can phone up and, lots of different ways you could do it, but you could influence somebody else to take an action on their account, which at the same time you do something similar, and then you can say, look at this evidence, and you could show that to 5 or 6 other people. And then you could influence more decisions, which various brokers or investment banks ahead of them will then change their own position or make slightly different decisions. And within there, you can tell what their ultimate strategy might be, because you can see the slight adjustments they're prepared to make. And while you're maybe fighting one particular guy, it'll play out as loads of different narratives in the mainstream media. The stock will be manipulated constantly. You'll fade it as soon as the price opens at the start of the day. You'll boost it right at the last couple of minutes before lunchtime. You'll slam it back down again when you come back from your salad. And you'll do things all the time that are exclusively about manipulating the price. And you see it constantly on the markets, and you're looking at the charts. I'm a classical chartist. I'd look at the charts and I'd look at the indicators. I'd look at momentum indicators specifically, and I'd see the divergence, and you can see, well, here's where the strength is in this trend. Here's where it's weak. I've also commonly will have like option flow trades from dark pools up or institutional order flow up on the charts, and I'll be looking at them side by side along with with the prices that retail are paying. And you can see quite clearly at times that you'll be paying higher prices for this on institutional dark pools. And while you can't pay lower because of the way that the ATS trading systems work and the nibble pricing and so on, that doesn't mean that there isn't a potential for extreme amounts of manipulation on the top side. So often you'll see, for example, prices coming down they come in, they put in a low on the charts, i.e. they've gone below previous areas of support and they've put in a new extreme low on price action. And if you're also looking at the options flow or the institutional order flow and the stuff coming through from the dark pools, you can see that the direction of their price movement has changed. It's gone up in advance, and in fact they're putting in higher lows or they're putting in new highs. And at the same time, people on retail in live trading are buying it and they're paying less. And you might think, but that means they're getting a bargain. But all that really is this manifestation of this manipulation. The institutions don't want to pay any cheaper for it, right? They've already got everything they possibly wanted. And now retail have to catch up. And you think, well, I'm getting it cheaper because that's better. But actually, for every buy, there's a sell. And so when you're winning buying that low, there's actually somebody else that's being robbed, because they're making decisions based on what they think is all available information. And in fact, it isn't. And people know about this, that have got certain access to the information. Well, as retail traders won't have, in so many areas of these alternative trading systems, so many aspects of them are hidden from you and me. You and I, you'll like the reporting period's 24 hours on trades and alternative trading systems, so you're not even going to see it till maybe the next day. All this stuff's happening when you're making your own decisions live. And people say, but well, this is the nature of the market. And it's truthfully not the nature of the market. The only reason alternative trading systems even exist was because there was this idea that they would be able to add to the liquidity that's provided in the market. And so liquidity equals capital efficiency, which equals capital accumulation. And so building wealth, this idea of creation of wealth that they think comes from the stock market, they thought they could increase that and add to that flow. And so that's why alternative trading systems were permitted. But then within the trading systems themselves, they now offer, and have done since 2017, and even earlier than that, some very popular ones offer maker-taker exchanges. So if you put an order on the books, i.e. provide liquidity within that exchange, then you'll be rewarded with a rebate of the fees that the person who takes that order from the book by doing a market order, they'll pay a fee. That's a taker fee, and that'll be given a rebate, a percentage of it will be given as the maker fee to the guy who put the order in the book in the first place. And so, in essence, that seems like a great idea, because what's the problem? We're only trying to encourage liquidity. But when you actually think about the dynamics of that situation, what you've gone and done, what you've provided for there is a different mechanism for those liquidity providers to make money. So previous to that, it was that they are providing liquidity that's on either side of the trade, so they can make money in the spread. So that someone wants to buy it for this price, they want to sell it for some other price. You can offer both parts of that trade. You can make the difference in the spread, and you can offset your own risk by taking trades. And that's how market makers operate. And it was how the whole system worked, and it worked very well. But then with alternative trading systems and with the maker-taker exchanges, there then became this secondary reward in that you're just getting the maker fee. And so that was a perversion of the objective of these things in the first place. And that actually takes away from the incentive and motivation for the market makers to close the spread via little exchanges. All of that liquidity happen off exchange leads to loads of opportunities for manipulation. And then you combine that with the T+2 settlement period and all of the avenues within there to influence and manipulate the markets. It leaves it so that if you're a market maker, you're genuinely left wondering if it is better to just do the job as it was first intended and perform the role just to facilitate a better and more competitive spread, or is it in fact better to just use this huge wealth you've got, clump it all together, reduce the velocity of how you use it, and instead just scrape fees. And so all of that added together with payment for order flow and the order routing that comes from the New York Stock Exchange, for example, and goes into all of these various market makers exchanges, means that there's like you're undermined. You know, you on the other side of the trade are undermined because the people that you're there with aren't people you're necessarily trading with on the other side of the trade. They're actually just people that are looking to scoop money out of your pocket. And so the idea of capital efficiency and capital accumulation is true, but it's only for the huge liquidity provider, and it doesn't benefit the market. And that's been happening for years and years now, and it's getting worse and worse. And because of the three trifecta of problems, the dark pools, the T+2 settlement period, and the payment for order flow, you're seeing this huge problem now manifesting because the motivations of the people on the trades have been completely changed. And the game you thought you were playing is both rigged and itself completely flipped on its head. And then you go in and you think, well, if this is the order flow, if this is the institutional order flow, if this is the option order flow, and this is how retail are performing, and you look at all the different things and you can see, well, actually, long is short for that's in essence, long is short for market makers. And so their motivations were previously just to offset risk are now to direct the flow of money so that it benefits them. And that was never what they were supposed to do. In fact, it's then encroaching on the idea of free markets. It's anti-competitive. It's anti-American. And ironically, a couple of those problems are banned everywhere else in the world apart from in America.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the podcast. Don't forget our sponsor, ExpressVPN, and my book, Brexit, The Establishment Civil War, can both be found in the links in the description below. And also, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. It's the best way to help us grow. Until next time, thanks for listening. Screw the hedge funds.
You can make as many rules as you want, but if there's no teeth behind them, what's the point?
Well, like Citadel is potentially just gone in a few months. It feels like financial institutions, that they are all laughing at us by buying GME. Screw the hedge funds. Like, I will lose my entire investment if it brings them down.
Why on earth, last May, could you buy the entire company for $200 million?
What's been happening on Reddit and in social media and in the marketplace has never been seen before.
I argue that nothing is off the table. There is nothing off the table when dealing with the volumes of money in something as big as the United States stock market.
The hedge funds have clearly underestimated a group of people raised on Friday night World of Warcraft raids.
Dark pools, they're another mechanism to manipulate and cheat. Mainstream journalists don't say these things for a number of reasons. One is their sources are the people that I'm talking about, and so they can't call somebody a crook.
Superstonk and the other communities that have emerged are a hive mind, the likes of which we have never seen before. It's madness and brilliance, insanity and genius all rolled into one. It's very possible that Citadel will be gone in a few months. And not just Citadel, but the entire financial system has the potential to come crashing down. These crooks continue to gamble recklessly with the world economy, and this could be the moment that they finally get their justice.